is shining brightly today.
I've been here 15 years. Never a dull moment, right? It just seems to be every day something different.
Well, I mean, you got this.
Thank you, Aaron. Really.
Are you ready for an opportunity of a lifetime? I'm standing in a dream house that anyone can win. This Mediterranean home features 6 bedrooms, a chef's kitchen with custom cabinets, and more. Step outside for a refreshing dip in the pool. Enjoy a variety of fruit and organic vegetables from your garden. There are 2,800 additional prizes. Your chances of winning a prize are 1 in 25. Get your tickets now for the Dream Big raffle.
If you've been hurt in an accident and you need results, call Sweet James. Here are just some of the recent wins for our injured clients. Call the firm that wins big. Call Sweet James.
Good morning, I'm Frank Buckley. The collapse of a bridge in Baltimore that killed several people could result in criminal charges. The latest on the investigation just ahead.
Good morning, I'm Trevor Shirley, live in Washington. The hush money trial of former President Donald Trump is getting underway today in New York City. The priority today, the beginning of jury selection. I've got the latest on that process coming up just ahead.
And I'm Annie Rose Ramos. This morning, Israel vows to exact a price from Iran after an unprecedented large-scale drone and missile attack over the weekend. Coming up, what officials here in the U.S. are urging Israel to do as the world braces over whether this becomes a wider war in the Middle East.
Good morning, I'm Jessica Holmes. A portion of the 101 freeway closing tonight as construction ramps up on the world's largest wildlife crossing. What you need to know about those closures coming up.
Good morning, I'm Sam Rubin. Brand new here at 8 o'clock. Piano Man problems. This big salute to Billy Joel has an abrupt and odd ending. Audience members are not happy. We'll show you, tell you all about that. Win your way to see Mariah Carey in Las Vegas. And our friend from The Office, Kate Flannery, is on the way. She's joining us live.
Beautiful start to the weekend. It seems like that's been a pattern. After rainy weekends, we start the weekend, go along with nice weather. But the good news is the pattern shall be broken this weekend as we're not looking at getting any rain, but back into some sunshine and nice temperatures over the weekend. Maybe that was the last of sort of our winter-type storms. Yes, we still will get some rain, but not like what we've been getting every weekend. 64 coastal today, downtown 68, San Fernando Valley, comfortable 72 degrees, and that's really going to warm up almost by 10 degrees heading into Wednesday. 69 Orange County inland, 70 for the Inland Empire, and the high desert 68 degrees. Ginger, traffic.
All right. Oh, my goodness. I was just wanting to see, while you were talking, Mark, how bad are those delays on the 101 freeway? So get ready. I'm going to tell you. But first of all, we have that outstanding signal on the 101 northbound side at Lancashire. We know just the right lane has been open and available. Coroner's already been on scene for just a little bit, and we're hoping for the release of some of the lanes. You want to know how bad it is? It's backed out from before Santa Monica Western, so that's well before you even get over towards Sunset Boulevard. And that's the reason I think the 134 and the 5 freeways are taking a hard hit. I mean, gosh, even if you exit, like, say, Silver Lake Boulevard, try to get yourself over towards, say, Sunset Boulevard that way, and then kind of go around, you're really going to be sitting in a lot of delays because that's a lot of streets. But it's one option as opposed to taking that 5 to the 134, right? 2 southbound side of the 5 is always a crowded spot because people are trying to get to that 5 freeway. But in this case, we have reports of a crash that's in lanes, and the same for that 605 south at about Delamo Boulevard, a wreck that's now sitting in lanes for your drive if your plans take you on the border of Lakewood or Long Beach, and that will be a slow ride too for that 605 south again at Delamo Boulevard. Lakewood and Cerritos, I should say. We'll watch all of these things that are popping up. LA County, very busy. I'll send it back to you guys.
We begin the 8 o'clock hour with breaking news. The historic hush money trial of former President Donald Trump is underway now in New York City. It's the first time a former U.S. president has ever faced trial on criminal charges. KTLA's Trevor Shirley, live in Washington, D.C., with more for us. Trevor, good morning.
Frank, good morning to you as well. Today, jury selection gets underway, and that could include both sides interviewing as many as 1,000 potential jurors over the next few days. Now, both the defense and the prosecution are going to be looking for jurors that they think could be fair and impartial. Every potential juror will fill out a questionnaire covering questions related to former President Donald Trump and how closely they've been following the lead up to this trial, for example. However, prospective jurors will not be asked their political affiliation. The former president has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts that he falsified business records in an attempt to hide an affair with adult actress Stormy Daniels. It's alleged the former president paid Daniels $130,000 to keep her from going public during the 2016 campaign. Prosecutors say those payments were documented as legal fees to hide their true nature. The former president has made this trial, along with 3 potential other ones, as a center point of his campaign. He alleges this is all an effort by Democrats to keep him from winning this year's presidential election.
This is political persecution. This is a persecution like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And again, it's a case that should have never been brought. It's an assault on America. And that's why I'm very proud to be here.
Jury selection is expected to take a few days, and it could potentially reach into next week as well. That's the latest here in Washington. We'll send it back to you guys in LA.
Trevor, thank you. This morning, the Israeli military is considering possible retaliation for Saturday's Iranian drone and missile attack on Israel. Israel's military says it intercepted 99% of more than 300 of those projectiles. Ktla's Annie Rose Ramos live now in the newsroom monitoring the latest developments. Annie Rose, good morning.
Jess, good morning to you. At this hour, sources reporting Israel's war cabinet meeting has just ended. No details yet on what was decided, as Israel is working to determine their response to Iran's attacks, with multiple sources saying President Biden is now urging Prime Minister Netanyahu not to retaliate after hundreds of drone and missile strikes were launched by Iran into Israel. These are some of the images from Saturday. Air raid sirens and explosions sounding as Iran began taking aim at the Jewish state. Its first ever direct assault on Israel after decades of tension. We spoke to Micah Thau, who lives in Jerusalem and is a cousin of a producer here at KTLA, who describes what he says was a long and terrifying night.
Suddenly, at about 1 a.m, I heard booming sounds, like just total explosions in the area. And we didn't have access to the bomb shelter, unfortunately, so we wound up hiding in a basement. I mean, I've experienced Hamas missiles before, but I've never experienced Iranian cruise missiles and ballistic missiles and drones. It was very, very frightening.
Israel's military leaders saying with the help of its allies, including the U.S., Jordanian, and British forces, they intercepted the vast majority of those incoming strikes, over 300 of them, with only 1 casualty, a child critically injured. Israel calling their ability to defend the country a success, but that this was clearly a declaration of war.
Every one of us should look and ask, what would we do had we been attacked in such an aggressive way as we were attacked last night from 4 corners of the Middle East, with proxies shooting at us, firing missiles and ballistic missiles, drones, and cruise missiles. This is like a real war.
Saturday's attack in response to a deadly airstrike Israel led on Iran's consulate in Syria at the start of April. You're looking at the aftermath of it there. The airstrike killing 7, including 2 generals, a deadly escalation leading to the U.S. and its allies to begin warning Israel that an attack from Iran was imminent. This weekend, President Biden returning to the White House earlier than planned for urgent discussions on this situation. G7 leaders meeting via video conference Sunday to coordinate a diplomatic response as concerns grow over whether this conflict could mean a wider war in the Middle East and beyond.
We don't want a war with Iran. We don't seek to widen and broaden this conflict. We don't want to see things escalate. As a matter of fact, what we want to do is see things de-escalate. And defending Israel the way we helped do on Saturday should have that effect.
The U.S. now issuing a travel warning for Americans in Israel, saying not to travel outside of major cities. Reporting live from the newsroom, Annie Rose Ramos, KTLA 5 News.
Annie Rose, thank you. New at 8, a criminal investigation has been launched into the collapse of the Key Bridge in Baltimore. You'll recall an out-of-control cargo ship drifted into a bridge support last month, causing it to come down into the water. 6 road workers who were on the bridge at the time died. Now the FBI and U.S. Coast Guard are leading a criminal investigation. Officials will look into whether the crew for the cargo ship Dolly failed to report an earlier issue with that vessel that delayed its departure. The city of Baltimore is also looking into who is responsible. Mayor Brandon Scott says the city has teamed with legal firms to hold any entities responsible.
Only on 5, police in Colton looking for an armed robbery suspect who got into a fight with employees of a gaming store. A man in dark clothing walked behind one of the display cases and started grabbing merchandise. Happened Friday night about 8 p.m. at Into the Retroverse. The store is on the 800 block of West Valley Boulevard in the Colton City Plaza Strip Mall. 3 employees tackled him.
He just started taking stuff. He said, I need the money, I need the money. And that's when my friend Alex attacked him. He pushed the cabinet onto him, and that's when we started doing an all-out brawl.
I tried to throw him to the ground. That's where he got tired.